everyone! I am here today with a video on 5 personal care items that I've been using for years and that I love. For this video, I wanted to choose items that you might not already have in your home, so I didn't pick things like my electric toothbrush or my flat iron or my hair dryer. There's going to be nothing like that in this video. Instead, I'm going to share with you some items that might be a little bit TMI. The more TMI items will come towards the end of the video, and I will warn you before I start talking about bodily functions. Before I start with the first item, which is very innocuous, I just wanted to mention that I did not remove the blankets from this part of the couch because Miss Lulu is actually fast asleep on there. That's the white blob you see that's above my left shoulder. She is very tired and sleeping very peacefully, so I decided to just leave her be, and the video aesthetic may suffer, but it's okay. The first personal care item I'm going to show you is a gadget that I've been using since February 2018, and if you love baths as much as I do, you may find this very handy. It is this infrared thermometer. I like my bath water to be around 39 to 40 degrees Celsius. A little bit hotter is okay in like the 40.x degree range, but any hotter than that and it's too hot, it takes too long to cool down. Anything cooler than 39 degrees is too cold for me, and I have to run the hot water to bring up the temperature in my bath. My bath water temperatures used to be all over the place, so it'd be scalding hot when I go in, or it'd be way too cool, because when you do like the finger test or the hand test, it really depends on how you're feeling, and the temperature of the water is kind of relative to that, so it's never exact. But as soon as I got this little gadget, my baths have been so perfect. Hubby has also started taking baths every now and then. I think he's only taken 2, but we have used this to measure his bath water. He likes his water a little bit hotter, so we aim for 40 to 41 degrees for him. So it might take some trial and error to get that perfect temperature for you because everyone is different, but once you have that range in your mind and you have this tool, your baths will be so lovely every single time. I bought this a number of years ago, but I will still leave all of the information down below about the one that I have. But I would say if you are in Canada and purchasing this off of Amazon, it costs around $20 to $30. And I did buy this before the pandemic, so the prices may have changed. And I actually thought to do this video during the pandemic, but because there were no infrared thermometers available, everyone was buying these up, I decided to wait to film this video. The second personal care item that I'm going to talk about is something that I've been using since June of 2017, and I have talked about this a lot in my videos, and that is my dry brush. I use this regularly, around 3 times a week, and it is still in fantastic condition. I have a video on how I keep this clean. There are a lot of videos about the benefits of dry brushing, and I'm not an expert in that area. For example, the dry brush is supposed to stimulate your lymphatic system, which is supposed to improve your general health. But of course, I don't have any evidence that that has been the case for me. I will give you some anecdotal observations about my skin since using the dry brush. So of course, the dry brush is a great exfoliator. I find that it feels great on the skin. When you first start using this, you'll probably want to go very lightly because your skin will be very sensitive to the feeling of the hard bristles brushing up against it. It does feel very scratchy and maybe even a little bit painful because you're not used to it. But the more you dry brush, the more accustomed to the feeling you will become. And I can actually brush quite vigorously now, and I find it feels great. It's like a little massage. I dry brush before taking a hot shower, and it just feels wonderful. And I think it has had some benefits on my skin as well. Now, these comments are purely anecdotal, and of course other factors could come into play with the improvements that I've noticed, but I have noticed that the backs of my arms are a lot smoother. I have that dermatological condition. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but you probably know what I'm talking about. The kind of like common name is chicken skin. So I have that on the back of my arms, and it used to be pretty bad. I used to have like active almost like breakouts on the back of my arms, or like hard little nodes that I could like squeeze. I tried not to touch them, but those have been greatly minimized. I don't know, again, if it's purely the effects of dry brushing. It could be other factors, just changes as I age, but I feel like this might have had an impact because I do dry brush all over my body, including, of course, that area on the back of my arms. The other thing I've noticed is that my cellulite seems to have reduced a little bit. And again, I want to be very careful here that this is purely anecdotal. I am not in any way saying that this can remove cellulite, but I have noticed over the years that my cellulite has diminished a little bit. I purchased this from a company called Joyous Health, which is, I believe, a Canadian-based retailer. The 13-inch dry brush, though, was unavailable for a very long time. I just checked before filming this video, and it is on the website again, but it's sold out. So I think this is a popular item. But you don't need the 13-inch one. You can use a smaller dry brush. The 13-inch one is a little bit more expensive, especially on the Joyous Health website. It was between $30 and $40. On Amazon, I believe you can get similar dry brushes for a fraction of the price. The third personal care item that I wanted to talk about, it is for dental hygiene, and it is this tongue scraper. I have been using this little contraption since April 2017. Similar to the dry brush, the first few times you use this item, you will want to be a little bit more gentle because your tongue might not be used to the sensation of having hard metal scrape across it. But the more you use this item, the harder you can scrape your tongue. And it does feel really good. I generally scrape my tongue in the mornings, and there is so much stuff that comes off of it. It's actually pretty gross. I'm not going to insert a clip or anything like that, but if you are someone who scrapes your tongue in the morning, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. I have been meaning to scrape my tongue at night as well, but I haven't gotten into the habit of it, and I've noticed that when I scrape my tongue before going to bed, there's really like nothing that comes off of it. So it's really that build up in the morning, all of that bacteria multiplying in your mouth, that I want to get rid of. So this is a very integral part of my dental hygiene routine, and I might do a whole video on my dental hygiene routine because it's something that I'm very passionate about now. I used to not even floss, but now I have like this whole dental care routine set up that I love, and it's been benefiting my teeth very, very nicely. So this is very easy to use. I have the one that has like the rubber grippies, and it has lasted for many years, since 2017, but there are ones that are entirely stainless steel, so you might want to choose that one if you're not into having these like rubber grippies. I purchased this from an online retailer called Well.ca, and it was around $10. It's really easy to use. All you do is you stick your tongue out and you scrape this across the top of your tongue. I love this item so much that I bought one for hubby. I think he uses it every day, but he probably forgets some days. This is a very inexpensive item, but I think it adds a lot of value, especially since dental hygiene is so important to overall health. We are going to get into some personal care items now that are a little more TMI. So if you're not interested in hearing me talk about bodily functions, you might want to exit the video now, but you can get a sense of what I'm about to talk about by clicking the description box. I'm going to have all the links there anyway. The next item I'm going to talk about is the Squatty Potty. I have been using this since August 2017. It seems like that time period was a really pivotal time for me in terms of looking into how to improve my health. And I think that's because that was the time where I was feeling a lot of the impacts of stress from staying at my full-time job for so long and not really feeling like I was able to leave. So because I was feeling a lot of both physical and mental, emotional symptoms, I was feeling very unwell in a lot of those areas. I started looking into how to improve my health, which is why I started purchasing all of these things. And I do think they made a difference. The number one thing that improved my health, though, was me leaving that full-time job. But these items I continue to use to this day, so of course I do find value in them. So the Squatty Potty that I have is the 9-inch version, and again, I've been using this since August 2017. I do have mine here. I washed it this morning. It is hard plastic, so very easy to wash. What I do is I just pop it into the bathtub. I spray it all over with disinfecting spray. I woke Lulu when I knocked on the hard plastic. Oops. And then I scrub it down, I rinse it off, and I dry it. And it is just like new, even though we've had this since 2017. So this basically sits around the base of your toilet. So if you imagine I'm the toilet, you would take the concave area and just like put it right up against the toilet. This rests really nicely against the base of the toilet, so it's out of the way. When you're ready to go, and I'm talking number 2 here, so I'm talking about poop, you basically pull this away from the base, so it's still on the floor, but it's not right up against the base of the toilet. You pull it out far enough so that you can rest your feet on it comfortably, so you're kind of in a squat position, but still sitting on the toilet. But basically what this is supposed to do is it's supposed to change the angle of your colon so that the poop comes out a lot more easily. It's just supposed to like come right out. And I would say it does work. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time in the bathroom as it is, even before we had the Squatty Potty, but I find it has made a difference in my own kind of like bowel movement routine. I bought this on Amazon Canada in 2017 for around $30. When I checked Amazon Canada this morning, this was priced at $70, and that is way too expensive. It should cost around $30, and other retailers like Canadian Tire or Bed Bath & Beyond may have it. The 5th and final personal care item that I'm going to talk about today is another TMI item, and this is something that is for periods. So if you're not someone who gets a period and you're not interested in hearing about periods, this is probably a good place to X out of this video. This is the personal care item that I've been using the longest out of all of these items that I've shown today, and that is the DivaCup. I have been using this since January of 2016, and there was indeed a learning curve to using this. It took me around 3 months to get the hang of it, so 3 cycles. Now this is not for everyone. You do have to be very comfortable with poking around in your vagina if you want to use a menstrual cup. The reason is that it really takes some time to get the hang of putting this menstrual cup in, adjusting it so that it's comfortable, and also taking it out. I read a lot about how to use this because I just wasn't getting the hang of it. It was very awkward and uncomfortable, but I stuck with it because I did read that it takes around 3 months to get the hang of it, and I'm glad I stuck with it because this is one of my favorite personal care items. Besides my hormonal symptoms, I barely even care when I'm on my period. The actual bleeding doesn't bother me at all anymore, whereas before it used to be a real nuisance. But now that I use the DivaCup, it is just something that happens once a month. Because I've been using this for so long, it's very easy now to put in and take out. It's really become second nature. I take this on vacation, if I'm on my period during vacation. And because my flow is pretty light, I really do only have to empty this out every 12 hours. So it is super, super convenient. One thing that I do want to mention is that if you have a very heavy period, if you have like super heavy flow, this might not work for you because it only holds a certain amount of fluid. The other thing I wanted to mention is that there are a lot of different menstrual cups on the market. So DivaCup is one of them, and there's a specific size and shape that's associated with the DivaCup. There are 3 models now. When I purchased this, there were only 2 models, and I did buy the Model 2 that was recommended for age 30 and up, but I found that it was too big, so now I actually use the Model 1. The Model 2 now just sits in my cupboard, and maybe one day I will need it, but as of now, the Model 1 works very well for me. I'll show you my Model 2 because I don't use this one, but this is the general shape of the DivaCup. Model 2 is a bit wider, whereas Model 1 is a bit thinner. So it's the same like bell shape. When you insert it, you basically insert it like this so that all of the fluid, all of the blood from your period goes into the cup. When you remove it, you can wash it with soap and water, and then at the end of every cycle, you'll want to disinfect it. So I just do that in some boiling water. I boil it for 10 minutes, and then I just make sure like I wipe it really well. If you're familiar with the DivaCup, you will notice that the tip is missing, and I cut that off. Did find that that was uncomfortable. That would like poke me when I would sit down and such. So I went ahead and cut that off, and now it works great. I don't even feel it when I have this in during my period. Cutting the tip off is something that I read about when I was researching how to use the DivaCup, and it's a very common thing to do. It doesn't change the functionality of the cup at all, besides making it more comfortable depending on the way your body is shaped. That is it for my video on the 5 personal care items I've been using for years and that I love. I hope you found this video helpful and maybe learned about a new personal care item that you might want to try. I will be back very soon with another video. Until then, please take care and bye for now.